we do, we gotta follow this.
Okay, I'm all set now.
Okay. Good afternoon. This is the Town of Madison Conservation Commission regular meeting of November 7th, 2024. Make a motion that we open the meeting?
Second that.
Yes. Okay. And the first item is approval of the minutes. Oh, sorry, elevation of
Alternates.
alternates. Let's see, do we have a quorum? No.
We have
You don't need it, I don't
Four.
think. Yeah, we don't
You have to
need it.
elevate.
So we don't need to elevate. Second item is approval of minutes of October 3rd. If you read them, any issues, comments?
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented. I'll second that.
All in favor? Yes?
Oh, you're, just a 4.
Okay. Public comment. I think we have SLAM here, or representatives of SLAM. We received some information from you just a few days ago. And I'd like you to describe it and give us some background.
Yeah, I'm Dave Scarborough with SLAM, and I'm joined by Ted Kramer, who's our president, and also Nancy Martin, who's a fellow board member. And thanks for the opportunity to present. We learned about something called the New Hampshire Clean Water State Revolving Fund a while back, and learned that through New Hampshire Lakes Organization that it was possible to do something called a watershed management study that would look at everything related to a body of water like Silver Lake, including all of the streams that run into it and the ponds that are connected to it, and allow you to get a handle on what factors are affecting the water quality for your entire watershed. And given that SLAM has a mission of protecting Silver Lake, this sounded like something that would be good to do for our watershed. And in light of more recent events, like the extreme torrential rains we've been having, and finding PFAS in our water table, and other issues that like cyanobacteria bloom that we had a year ago, we've been motivated to look further into it, and we took the step of actually, in coordination with the town through the coordinator, making a pre-application to raise the funds from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund to perform a watershed management study. And we actually received approval a couple of months ago. It's non-binding. It's just the very first step in the process. The funds would be dispersed through the town, not through Silver Lake Association of Madison. They have to be given to a municipality, which is why we initially coordinated with the town in order to just do the
Right.
pre-application. But we did the legwork on the pre-application. The pre-approval, the way the loan would work is it would be up to $100,000. I think that virtually all of that would go to a hired company, an environmental engineering consulting firm that would do the work. And the work would take from 1 to 2 years, probably closer to 1. And the loan would the principal on the loan would be forgiven once the study is completed, and the DES receives a copy and approves the final results. So the only thing that would be due would be the interest on the loan as it was outstanding. And SLAM is prepared to step forward and pay that cost, such that there would be no net cost to the taxpayers or to the town of Madison. So where it sits right now is we're pre-approved. the next step would be to have a warrant article put into the slate for March. And assuming the town voted for it, then we would proceed with the project. And what we're proposing is that we put together a steering committee that would be led by SLAM, but it would include members of different organizations, as I've outlined there, including representation from this commission, and that we would work in conjunction with DES through the process of defining goals for the project, specific goals that relate to our specific watershed, going out for bid to several different qualified environmental engineering firms, and then seeing the project through to completion with that firm and led by the steering committee. Presumably reporting along the way to the various committees so that everybody knows what's going on. So that's sort of the gist of what we're here to present to you, and our hope is that before we take this to the select board, that we would have your understanding and approval of what we're doing. As the Conservation Commission, we were thinking that would be pretty favorable to this kind of study.
Well, I find it very interesting and probably meaningful what you're intending to do. It is a loan, though, the way it's described, at least as I understand it.
It is.
And the loan, it potentially is forgiven. Is that how it works?
You can say potentially, we have to perform for it to be forgiven. So
Okay,
yes.
so there is a need for, call it the $100,000 to be expended by the town before the $100,000 comes back, if it ever comes back.
The money is coming from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. The town does not have to come up with the money, but we are liable for it. So from an accounting standpoint, essentially, yes, we will owe that money back unless we complete the study and the study is approved by
Okay,
the fund.
so it is an obligation on the part of the town to complete the project successfully before there is a funding to repay.
Before there is forgiveness of the
Well,
amount
which is
outstanding.
essentially, you're gonna expend the money's gonna get expended
Right,
before you get it back.
right.
Okay, so that's the reason why,
No, sorry. We do not have to come up with the money. We are going to be drawing on an account like a loan. It is a loan from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. We do not have to allocate $100,000 to the project. It's being borrowed.
It's a line of credit from somebody else's account.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah, from the state agency.
And we only need to be paying interest on that.
okay, so the
through
drawing,
balance.
you produce an invoice, or invoices comes from a supplier, a
Right.
contractor. You submit that invoice to the Clean Water people. They pay it?
I don't have the details yet on whether we are free to draw, say, $25,000, knowing that we're going to be paying within a few weeks some amount less than $25,000. That's my understanding of the way it works, but I haven't looked into that level of detail.
You're basically looking for an indication of support from the conservation
That
of
this
this
is a good
effort.
idea, but I'm glad you asked the question, because I would hope that the town will ask, the select
Oh, I'm
board will
sure.
ask it. And I will find the detailed answer to that before I go
Okay.
before them. But hopefully, this is not something that the commission has to worry about. It's something that we need to answer for the
Okay.
town.
Do you have a statement of work or anything like that, other than what you have here?
No, I don't have a statement of work. The thing about a watershed management study is it's something that has been done by many lake communities around New Hampshire, let alone, around the country. And so it's a very well-known process, which is why we know it's going to be less than $100,000. And it is something where I see the steering committee defining a scope of work with the input from different organizations like the commission. I don't think we know what to put into that document right now. I think we have some ideas of what we want to research, what we want to look into as potential problem areas. But I just don't think we have the expertise yet to define a good detailed scope of work. Other than, this is going to be a watershed management study, which is, again, something that's pretty well
Okay.
understood.
Do you envision the management study having any recommendations for future improvements, actual work?
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
so it will be you could develop a plan from this study that would permit you to look for additional funding or make decisions related to, call it a version of contamination or whatever.
My understanding of what will come from this, and I'm calling it a study. A study is half of it, the plan is the other half. So the report that gets written out of this is not only here's what we found, but it's here's what we recommend. It's a prioritized list of things. And those things could include, you should put a culvert in this area so that you're diverting water from running into the lake, directly. It could include, here are ordinances we recommend you put in place for future development to keep from adding, more issues to the watershed, especially in certain areas. It's going to be very detailed, and it will even include recommendations on community outreach to educate the community on how what they do on their property ultimately can affect our bodies of water. So it's all of that. And it really is, as we looked at it, it really is something that will guide us for more than a decade into the future. It will guide us for quite a few years. There's going to be some things that we should probably do immediately, and we'll have to figure out how to do those things, how to afford them.
Okay.
And for those things, we will be given potential revenue sources that we can go after, so that we're not footing the entire bill ourselves necessarily. There are other revenue sources, and importantly, there are many of those revenue sources we can't tap without having done the study. So one thing relates to the other.
Right.
They want to know that we haven't come up with this need on our own, that it's been guided by, experienced engineering
Okay.
guidance.
Ralph, as you probably know, Ted Kramer, our watershed is rather substantial, and we should have a map of that for you, but it certainly includes the chain of ponds and way up onto the top of the hills around us.
Sure.
It's rather substantial. That is the universe of the study. We don't know the various elements of it, but it's interesting that timing-wise, it goes along with the new mandate that the Department of Environmental Services has, which is to study the impact of the excessive rainfall that we've been having as a state and its impact on these cyanobacteria blooms. They know they're related, but
Okay.
we don't know an awful lot more about it, but the timing is perfect. This is something for our grandchildren. Literally, it's not immediate for us.
Sure.
It could have substantial effects for long-term health of the lake.
Okay, what would you like from us? Or how about some comments or questions? Any concerns?
I make a motion, we support their initiative.
All right.
Water is the battle of the 21st century. New Hampshire does a lot of tourism with water. We drink the water. I can't think of an argument against it.
Okay.
So what do you think the motion wants to be? Support?
Okay. Somebody needs to second the motion?
Mike did.
Mike
And
did,
your motion's
okay.
gonna be to support Slam?
To
All
support
right.
their initiative in pursuit of funding for a watershed study.
Okay.
Excellent. Great.
Was it unanimous?
They didn't vote
We
yet.
haven't gone to a
Oh,
vote.
yes.
I thought we were.
Okay.
I'm
we
right,
need
they
to
haven't
vote
voted.
yes. Everybody voting yes?
We were high-fiving.
Okay. Any noes, abstentions? Okay. So everybody's unanimous.
Great. Well, support us with the select persons, please, because we want it to be a town project. We're taking the initiative from SLAM, but it really needs to be a town project, and so we certainly want the select board to support it as a
They will.
warrant article. Yeah.
They will, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. No brainer.
I was actually gonna put that into my, I thought it was a little flip for me to put into the description, but
Well, it is.
it really
I-
feels like a no-brainer to me. Yeah.
Great.
All
Yeah, I
right,
would
well,
just
thank you.
I'm sorry, I would just, obviously before it comes before the board, just make sure you have the answers to those questions.
Yeah.
Logistically, how does the
Yeah.
money flow, how does it work?
Yeah.
I got
An
it.
invoice comes in,
Yep.
do we draw the check?
Yeah, that's a good
or
question.
Send them an invoice
We'll-
kind of
we'll-
thing.
We'll have those
Yeah.
details, yeah.
Just one thing I gotta say, we are fortunate to have gotten this, because there are towns with bigger problems, evident problems than we have, that we were competing with. And so I feel fortunate that we have this opportunity to do this.
That's great.
At no cost to the town. And I hope we can all get to that feeling that, hey, this is great, this is lucky, let's
Right.
do it.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time.
We appreciate it.
Okay, Chain of Ponds update. Doug sent an email to us. And key matters of his email is that the Crows have agreed to an extension of, for closing on to November 2025. And he says the delay is they're doing because it's a extraction of a property, a land, a subdivision. The fundraising is going well. They think there is a grant from the State Drinking Water Groundwater Trust pending, but they believe that that's something that will result in $350,000. There is an increase in the budget due to a revised agreement, and there's a $30,000 increase to the sales price. They've got some project budgeting, some trail building and stabilization work being done, and there's some other activities that they're working on. So that was the update. Before this meeting, we had a 2:30 work session that involved looking at their draft, and we've made some substantial progress. Tim was here for about an hour, and his comments were very beneficial. We didn't complete the exercise, but it's nearly done. So I'm thankful that we made the progress, and I think it's a matter of the fact that we want to have an easement that works for us and not for the landowner, not expressly for the landowner. So usually it's mutual kind of situation where we both agree, but there are particular things that the landowner wants that we may not be fully in agreement with. So those are the things, and we also dealt with what is the permitted uses of the land, and it's what do we think is reasonable for people using? Do we want ATVs driving all over the place, that kind of stuff? So those kinds of matters were just we dealt with them. Kate will come out with a draft of our draft, and I think it will require another session, but we're almost there in terms of what the group felt was reasonable and all that. So and we made I think substantial headway. I think it was a very good meeting.
Does the rail go through?
Pardon me?
The rail goes through Chain of Ponds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of 19.
Because with all the work that's going on, with all the discussions that are going on with the current section from Silver Lake Railroad and south, that would probably be relevant, I assume.
Well, if it's from Silver Lake Railroad south, it doesn't involve that piece because it's north.
But where the conversation is happening about the rail, not just, I mean, they're talking about it from Ossipee on up. I mean, the current conversations they're having meetings about, to my understanding, are from Silver Lake and south, but I believe there are also conversations happening or coming about the
Okay.
part that would go through Chain of Ponds.
Well,
I'll check in with Linda and see if she was attending those
She
meetings.
attended that meeting.
Yeah.
In Ossipee, yeah, for John.
okay, so the concept, Chain of Ponds with Doug, I commingled the conservation easement deed revisions, so we covered that. Property review commitments, we have 2.
I sent out the email, but everyone.
Nobody responded.
So,
The 2 are,
the one from Joy, which I have, and Mark.
and Mark.
That's
Are you guys still willing to do it?
I still have your copy. Do you have your copy of everything I gave you? I still have everything here.
Somewhere?
Well, when you have time, well,
All right.
and Mark, are you still going to do it?
Yeah, hunting season. It's a
Okay.
good time to get out now, you can see.
You're gonna go out now?
What?
You're gonna go out now?
Not right now.
I was gonna say, well, not now, but I mean.
All right.
This time
so-
of year, before
All right,
snow.
So you guys are renewing your commitment to do it?
We'll give them some time.
All right. Master plan,
Yeah.
I think given the import of the Chain of Ponds, I think we need to defer that until we
Yeah,
we
defer,
have
yeah.
that under control. You know, basically that we have the easement. It's going to change our scope of activities, I think somewhat dramatically, because of 635 acres will require us to have a more active review of property and all of that. So it also will involve us completing the easement document. And Kate has talked with our attorney, and he's suggested a budget
Oh, yes,
Of-
for his review of the easement.
for the easement of $3,000. So our budget input for next year needs to include at least $3,000.
We'll get to that.
I think you.
We'll cover
I'm-
that
I'm
under-
jumping ahead,
Yep,
sorry.
you are.
But
We'll
but
cover
it's
that.
all about Chain of Ponds, so
Yep.
it's all
We'll get to
one
that.
topic.
Digitizing.
Digitizing town reports, we haven't made any progress. We're gonna, well,
Defer it for now.
we will deal with that in the future. Okay.
New business.
New
So,
business.
This, I already sent this to you, but this is about the cell tower.
It's a cell tower located on the tax map, 294 Lot 1,
Right, it's Perry
And-
Spring.
Green Mountain Communications, 150-foot tall monopole tower with an fence compound on the property. There's gravel access from King Pine Road. The New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources and the FCC require that a municipality and any local historical commission society be notified of this project. ADKE has been retained to determine whether the proposed undertaking will adversely impact properties of historical significance, properties listed or eligible in the National Register of Historic Places. Our findings will be submitted in a report to the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources on completion of the research. Please contact me within 30 days of this letter if the project will be or indirectly affected by the historical properties within the vicinity of the project. Please include please find a locus map showing a proposed tower location. All right, so there's a map.
I have,
Essentially, there's more to come, essentially. It's just really the first step.
and I have no idea if any of these are in historic, I would have no idea.
Well, they're gonna do a study to get to that point.
Right, but they're asking us to let them know, and I can't, because I wouldn't have any idea what's a historical property on this map.
No, what they're asking you for is any information that you may have. They're
Yeah, I
not
know.
suggesting that you do have it.
Right.
If you know something they don't know, they wanna know about it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
So-
know, I know nothing.
All right, so we say we have no knowledge
Would
of
should we
historical
pass it on
property.
to the Historical Society? as
There's a good idea.
They may have something,
Yep, absolutely.
Do you think that, they,
just for.
property-wise though?
They know the town
I have no idea.
I don't either.
history more than I.
As a director of
Sure.
the Historical Society, I say yes. I speak for the Historical Society, sort of.
Okay.
At least, send it over to Linda Smith.
I mean, we're talking about the very top of King Pine, the ski area. There's nothing there.
Right, there's nothing there, I
Never
don't
has
think there's
been.
anything.
But
So who's, it's the environmental company that's asking, or the company that's, not the environmental company, but the
This
company
is-
that's looking to install the tower is asking the town?
They're
no,
conducting.
they're the ones that are conducting the study. They're gonna go out there and do some borings, and if they find any arrowheads or whatever, pottery shards and stuff like that, that would
Green Mountain
shut them
Communications
down.
is the one proposing to construct the tower.
So Green Mountain Communications hired this firm to do the
Yep,
study?
right.
Correct.
Okay. They're just asking, do we know?
No.
As part of their
Right,
research?
right. So I'll send this off to Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 mil.
I have two questions, probably not relevant to this, but in the future. Could it be one, if it goes through, could it be one of those towers, do we have the right to ask that it be the kind that look like trees instead of cell towers? And who's liable to remove it when its life is over?
Well,
It would be in our regulations. It would be in the planning board's regulations.
Okay.
And this may come our way. This may come your way. That's.
Definitely.
That will eventually, yeah.
It's definitely gonna, if they,
They're gonna need a
Right.
building
It's gonna
permit.
go
as
to
long
you
as they don't
first.
find a arrowhead.
It'll go to you first and then,
All right.
Go throw some
CBA.
up there.
What's that?
Go throw some around.
All right, so Noreen Downs was an alternate. She submitted a letter of resignation. And make a motion, we accept her resignation.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Yes. Okay, Joy, you're on.
I'm glad Slam came. I'd had a brief conversation with them last week or the week before, a little bit, to get a little bit more information about the project. They shared a little bit of information about the project. And I'm glad they're kind of considering a lot of things. They were considering the dam as part of it, which we just, the select board meeting, Sean Bergeron came and talked about the Silver Lake Dam. The kind of engineering study is not the right word, but that kind of engineering piece of it is, we're anticipating having a $165,000 warrant this year, just for that. And then the cost of repairs is likely in the $2 million range. So I don't know if the watershed study might open up doors for funding that way as well, and tying that in. And then tying in the PFAS that is around the soil and water around this area, this village area that goes into Forest Brook, potentially affect Silver Lake and the watershed, yes, all of this being included in that watershed. So I think it's a good thing to keep them all in mind and as we look at each of these 3 projects, to
Okay.
make sure, see where we can overlap and work together, so.
Okay. Anything else? That's,
I think so.
okay. All right. We got my friend here.
We have planning board. We met last night and did a boundary line agreement for a couple large lots up on Maple Grove Road without much impact on anything. And then we did talk about the master plan, and we agreed to meet next month with master plan in hand and try to make a decision on what direction we want to go with the master plan. And we have asked the selectmen to sponsor an article for $100,000 for a master plan update. So we haven't seen that article, and we're not, we may support it, we may not, we may
I just
decide.
gave it to her today. I gave it to Linda to do
Okay.
today. Yep.
All right.
And that's about it.
Okay.
So that's that. All right, so now
Okay, administrative correspondence, budget review.
I'm gonna go to the budget. So, last month, we decided to leave all our line items the same, but we were talking about, we never decided on, I think we're camping, the camp for students. I think we were gonna do a line item of $500.
Right.
And digitizing, we were gonna do $500. And then we're gonna add Cordell's, we're waiting on Cordell's fee for
Right.
the easement
Right.
of $3,000.
Right.
So.
So those are the additions we're talking about. I think it's appropriate, all of them.
Okay, so that's what I'm gonna submit to Linda tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Tuesday.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Okay. And
Do
we
you
got
need
it.
to make a motion to approve it? Do you wanna approve the?
Yes, let's
the-
make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the proposed budget.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor? Yes.
Aye.
2025.
Okay. We got a bill from Green Mountain.
Yeah, well, yes. And it's funny because it said it was gonna have an increase of 10% in 2025, but I don't see I don't know where, this is what they sent us, so I don't see an increase
All right.
in 2024, but I don't know where they're sending us another bill. I have no idea, Ralph.
All right. So,
But usually when this bill comes out and we pay it, we usually do a motion at some
all
point,
right,
but
so
it's not
let's
ready
make a
yet.
motion to approve the water quality program, 1650. 1,650.
If it changes when they send it to me, I'll let everybody know, but this is what I
Okay.
have for now.
And you need a motion on that?
Need a second?
Second.
Second. Mike, did you second it? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the name of it again?
Pardon me?
It's the Green Mountain Conservation, it's the,
Water
they do the
testing.
water testing.
In what areas?
Well, there's a
Oh,
whole series of streams.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah, it's quite involved, you go
Okay.
upstairs and look in the file.
It's the main streams that cross roads.
Banfield
in the
Brook,
town.
Forest Brook, Farren Brook, Mill Brook, Quality Control, and supplies and equipment, that's what they bill for, but they take water testings, they
So
come
they do
out.
forest and frost and all that too.
It's
Test.
a
Pretty
bi-weekly
extensive.
test over the summer. Starts maybe May, runs all the way through until it gets
Winter time.
cold.
Yeah.
They've probably shut it down by now. I know we have. There's a bill for the New Hampshire
Yeah, everybody was
Association.
asking about it last month, well, it came in the day after the meeting, so
Okay.
I didn't have it yet.
All right, so there's a bill for $250 for
Dues.
Association of Conservation Commissions, and motion for $250.
Do you want to make a motion on that, if I could pay it?
I'll make a motion
I'll
to
second
pay
it.
the New Hampshire Association Conservation Commission.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Yes, everybody? Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, you have the account balances, and they were all explained, so I don't think there's any. real-
And the additional revised is because I got the statements today. So I had to quickly change everything and put in everything through October
Right.
31st. That's why your agendas all say revised, because I went in
All
and
right.
fixed
There's really no major changes in any of the accounts.
No.
Okay.
No, everything's accounted for. Last month, I know you asked me, Ralph, you had asked me for a couple charges, but they weren't on there because they weren't on the statement yet, so they're on there now.
They're,
So
right.
We should be good. Should be good.
Okay.
And should we send A&D Clum Environmental that we have no known?
We have
Please
no-
contact me within 30 days.
Right.
Right, that's what.
So-
Should we send them that we don't know anything?
Yeah, I think we should reply that we have no information at the Conservation Commission, but we forwarded your request to the Historical Society
Yep.
on your behalf.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Gotta talk to you about this. So I know we're gonna have to think about this again soon, warrant articles soon, or usually every year, we do one for 10,000 for purposes of the forest maintenance account, and you always do one for the capital reserve for 5,000, so I'm just putting it out there that we're gonna
Right.
have to do this soon, so, I know you had talked about more than 10,000 at one point during your meetings, of taking up more than 10, so I don't know where
Well,
everybody's head's at on that, but I'm just bringing it up because I know
Okay.
Linda's gonna
The
have to.
problem we have is we don't know the impact of chain of ponds at this point.
Well, there won't be any impact of the Crow family conservation easement until
The
Next
next
year.
year.
we
Right.
execute it.
Right, and so presumably there's probably won't be a high level of activity unless there is some obligations we have upon consummation of the deal. So there will be a work effort primarily on Tim's part to initiate understandings and all of that, and there are obligations that we will have.
Right, but any obligations that we undertake a year from now, we can budget for to fund in 2026.
You think so?
We're also gonna need Tim's estimated fee for the conservation easement. That's
Right.
something else I have marked here that
Right.
we gotta take into account, so.
Right, but we don't need that in this year's budget, we're gonna need it in 2026. We're not gonna, documents aren't gonna execute until a year from now.
Well, I don't know what the purchase and sale agreement says, Mike.
Well, it
Times
says
of the essence are on
up
or
until
before.
November.
I don't
May
know.
not be November, it may be earlier.
Right, I don't know. We are not
So
privy
he's
to that.
left it open
Right.
for the year.
Right.
So if it happens in April or May, we will have activity at that point.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't know what the amendment
So
says.
why don't we use a ballpark number of, call it $2,000 for activities related to it?
The other thing is are we able to just hold a special meeting to both funds once we do know the number next year and when it's gonna be?
I don't know. I'm talking about these two items right now, the 10,000 and the 5,000.
10,000.
That's what I'm talking about right now.
What I'm saying is an unknown as to whether or not we're gonna have any expenses related to that easement.
But if we put 10,000 in the forest fund, we could
That-
use that.
That's some of that money pays Tim's fees that we pay him throughout the year.
Right, and what the discussion was is how much do we have to increase that in light of the fact that we're gonna have additional responsibilities related to the Crow family conservation easement.
Well,
So it's something to think about. That should be, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just trying to,
okay.
trying to be diligent and keep up with.
Well, let's pursue Tim with respect to what he thinks the added cost is on an annual basis. So we get at least an answer on that. Okay. All right, unless we have anything else, I don't have anything burning a hole in my pocket or whatever, so,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
yes, all in favor, yes?
On to the next meeting.
I got an email from Linda that we had some numbers in. Did those come directly from Wilcox and Barton or from?
Yep.
Okay, it's just the 5 properties?
I am,
Just
I am out of here for 2
No,
weeks.
just we just
so
got numbers from
Oh,
5.
If you send me an email, I'll pick it up.